Okay, Joshua, you're down the line. Hello.
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 I'm telephoning because I believe that you are asking the question why there is a decline in the attendance of the Anglican Church.
That's correct.
I believe that it is because of the spread of homosex. I know this is a controversial opinion.
Yes, it is.
But I believe that there are so many homosex going on in the church, in particular in relation to the priests at the moment. In fact, they're encouraging priests to be gay. In fact, they are saying to them that unless you are gay, you cannot even be a priest these days.
But
women are even being allowed to be priests now, so that a man cannot.
Women have been priests for a long time.
I'm not being disrespectful to ladies, but that is
yes,
what's
you are.
going.
And to homosexuals.
So how can a man possibly be expected to?
Who else do you want to upset?
I'm sorry?
Who else do you want to upset?
I'm not upsetting anybody. I'm just speaking the word of the Lord.
You're just saying
Listen to me.
that no one's going to church anymore because it's full of homosexuals and gay priests and women.
I believe that there's too much homosex spreading out the land.
Okay.
Now, for example, William Shakespeare, he wrote a play called Romeo and Juliet, right?
That's right.
He did not write a play called Jack and Johnny. He did not write a play called Anthony and Andrew. He did not write a play called Richard and Jonathan, did he?
Just because William Shakespeare didn't write books about homosexuals doesn't mean...
Listen to me, my friend. Do you think that the Lord will rejoice in buggery? Do you think that the Lord will rejoice in
I don't know what he
ravishment
likes.
The Lord is stipulated in the great book. The congress between one man and another is a sin. Which
But things have changed since then. You're talking about a book that was written 2,000 years ago.
You see, I do not want to be rude to you, but you sound like you have been taken over by this cancer yourself, right?
What?
The fact of the matter is, Judgment Day will come.
Oh,
and you
this
are
is
encouraging,
madness.
listen to me please, you are encouraging ravishment and lewd, salacious groping and violation. You are encouraging this, you are celebrating it, you are rejoicing
Celebrating
in it.
what?
Not
Hey, accepting people? As a Christian, surely you should be accepting everyone and every person into the church. Doesn't God want to accept everyone? Does he say, I'm not going to let Elton John into my church?
Of course the Lord did not say that. The Lord is not aware of individual in the rock business. He's not looking into all of that. It seems to me you are quoting the book, but you have not looked into the chapter of the book, my friend, which said that fire and brimstone will be brought down, and the wrath of the Lord will be brought down to bear upon the sinners and the bad man who transgress against his word. They will be cast into eternal damnation and pain, because on Judgment Day, believe me, the Lord will hawk them when they come to account. He will hawk them of their congress one man unto another, and the Lord will say, you seek to enter here, but you know the sodomy you have committed against me? Oh yes, go to you to the other place, where you will burn in eternal damnation for the sins of buggery and bottom business.
Thank you very much, you're frightening me now. That's the thing about Christianity, people are very passionate about it. So keep those calls coming in, and it'll be great to hear from some other religions.
YouTube channel's not any good, but he's a nice guy. I'm sorry, Mr. Bolton.
Sorry about that. Hello, Pufflings, and I'm well and truly on my way home. I've done all of the boring motorway bits, and now I'm on to the nice bits, although I guess they're not so nice in the dark, are they? Oh, come on, Brian. I've had a little idea, and I wanted to run it past you. There we go. Come on, son, pick your feet up. There's a good chap. Now then, for the past week or so, I've started feeling a bit down, and it's something I recognise. I don't like the idea, I don't like the concept of taking things that are, as far as I'm concerned, just normal parts of life, giving them a label and calling them things, conditions, whatever you want to say. And one of these things that I don't like and I don't approve of is SAD, or seasonal affective disorder. But I can't deny that it is a very real thing. I just don't think it's a medical type thing or deserves a label. I don't think it's a disorder, you see. I think it's a perfectly normal, natural thing that most people feel, or all humans feel, and always have done. At around the time of year when winter is drawing in, the nights are getting longer, the days are getting shorter, and the weather is getting colder. I'm convinced that it's always been a thing. And that's why in most religions there is a festival somewhere around Christmas time, a kind of midwinter festival, basically to give you something to look forward to, you know, bit of a light in the tunnel in a pretty lousy time. And that can't be a coincidence, can it? Not in my book anyway. Even my own church, the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, we have a midwinter festival. It's called simply Holiday, and nobody's exactly sure when it starts, but we think it's sometime in kind of mid-November, and equally we're not sure when it finishes, but we think it might be February, somewhere around there. And in Holiday, during Holiday, we're encouraged to be nice to people, we're encouraged to eat well, to drink alcohol, plenty of alcohol, and of course we're encouraged to indulge freely and passionately in pleasures of the flesh wherever possible, and obviously as long as it's between consenting adults, which is nice. So I'm sure that it's perfectly natural and normal to feel a bit sad and down at this time of the year, and I've been feeling exactly that way, and it's something that I recognise. It's been happening for a while now, and I kind of mitigate it by looking forward to not Halloween or bonfire night or Christmas or even Holiday. I look forward to December the 21st, the winter solstice, because that is the shortest day. So from then on, at least you're heading in the right direction. So I kind of cling to that a bit. But I have been feeling a bit demotivated, and you kind of get the urge to hibernate. You don't want to do things, or at least I don't want to do things. And I don't want to not want to do things. Unlike this time last year, I have this channel now, which I love, and I have you guys who I love, and I want to do things, and it's kind of difficult to think of things to do. But something has occurred to me. Now, I've always loved the idea of camping and caravanning, in theory. In practice, it's an exercise in pretending to be people who are not aware of the existence of homes or hotels, and pretend to enjoy weeing in a plastic bucket. That side of things is not for me. I like my home comforts. I like a fridge in which there is chilled wine. I like a nice, comfortable, warm bed, ideally with a nice, comfortable, warm woman in it. And I like the luxury of my own lavatory. But the idea does still on some level appeal. And last week, when I cooked Momo outside in the rain, I rather enjoyed that too. I like the idea of al dente cooking. There's something exciting about it. and there's something comforting about being outside but in shelter with warm food. That's all very good and quite nice. And of course I enjoy driving my humble little collection of humble little cars, and I love driving around and enjoying and experiencing the incredible scenery in the area where I live, which is obviously the Peak District National Park. Mind the speed camera. Even in winter it has a scenic majesty that is literally, in the literal sense of the word, awesome. Now obviously I work in the evenings, and that does rather tie me down somewhat. It means that I can't get away for breaks and so on. I mean, I can't afford to do it anyway, but even if I could afford it, I don't have the time. I do have Mondays free, but I give my Mondays over now to hanging out with Captain Mustard and filming Mustard and Boaty do cars, and an episode of Mustard and Boaty do lunch, potentially an episode of Mustard and Boaty after lunch, or indeed an episode of Mustard and Boaty just generally pissing about and enjoying themselves. I'm sure you've all seen the sort of thing I mean. But on a couple of other days a week, what about if I were to just nip out somewhere beautiful but relatively local and make lunch outside, just on my own, unless any of you guys wanted to come with me? I think that might be rather good fun. And it would also be good fun if I had some sort of table and chair arrangement, and possibly how about some sort of shelter, like one of those little easy to put up pop-up tents or something of that nature. That could all be done fairly easily and quickly on a weekday when I've got a later start at work, and I could nip out, have a nice drive, take you guys with me of course, park up somewhere lovely and make an al dente lunch. Now obviously it would have to be done on a budget, partly because that's the theme of this channel. It's a budget channel, £500 cheap car challenge. That implies a budget and much cheapness, but more importantly it needs to be done on a budget because I haven't got any money. I am permanently skint. But it can be quite good fun trying to do things on a tight budget. You can browse Facebook Marketplace in search of bargains, and at this time of year I'm willing to bet that people will be selling camping type gear probably quite cheaply because it's not camping type season. So that's what I'm thinking of doing, stalking the classified ads, or online equivalent nowadays I suppose, finding a bargain table and chairs to cook on and eat on, and some sort of bargain shelter from the elements, and then having some little mini adventures, driving out for an outdoors lunch and making a film about it, because I need content, because I'm determined to get this dreadful little channel up to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Those are the two important figures. Why? Because when you hit those figures, a train! When you hit those figures, you can join the YouTube partner program, and that means that your channel is monetized, and you get a little dribble and drabble of monies coming in, which will help fund your hobby that you're probably filming all about. And I would like that very, very much. Now, I should thank you, because my watch hours are very good. At the moment I'm running at 1,200 watch hours per 28 days. I have about 2,300 watch hours in the bank, which means that I'm about 1,700 watch hours away from target. And so that's going to be, at the current rate, although I have been on a bit of a high lately, at the current rate that's going to be a month and a half. So certainly before the end of the year I would expect to hit the 4,000 watch hour figure. What I don't have is subscribers. Getting subscribers is like pulling teeth. It's like finding a really, really difficult to find thing in a haystack, in a storm, blindfolded, whilst trying to clench a sausage roll between your buttocks. Yeah, I need 1,000 subscribers, and at the most recent count I had a paltry 328. Now, don't get me wrong, I love and value each and every one of you wonderful 328 people, especially you. You know who you are. Yes, you. I couldn't love you any more than I do, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for your support and for your company. And that was a repetition of grateful, so if I was playing just a minute I could have buzzed myself and got a bonus point. But I'm not, so I didn't, so I won't. But here is my cunning plan. When I get at or near the 4,000 subscribers, the 4,000 watch hours, sorry, I will go on a subscriber hunt. I will hunt them down wherever I can. I run Facebook groups. One of my Facebook groups has over 10,000 people in it. Now, when I first started this channel, I put a heartfelt shout out for people to subscribe. At that time I had 14,000 members, and I thought, well, if just 10% of the people that I repeatedly beg over a 72-hour period, if 10% of them subscribe, that'll be 1,400 subscribers, and that'll be a wonderful start with the channel. Do you know how many subscribed? Have a guess. No, you're wrong. 3 people out of 14,000. Wonderful. And I have another couple of groups with around 1,000 members in. So when I get at or near the 4,000 watch hours, I will go into all the groups and onto Facebook and into shopping centres and churches and graveyards and anywhere I can think of, and I will beg, bribe, do anything I can to try and convince people to subscribe so that I can hit that magic 1,000 and get a couple of bob in the kitty. Now, why was I talking about that? I can't remember. This floor mat is severely compromised and it won't stay flat, and that's quite annoying. It's ruffling up, which doesn't look neat, and it offends me. It's ridiculous that it offends me. It should just slightly annoy me, and only very slightly at that, but it actually offends me. But then I'm a very weird person, as you know. I think I was talking about creating content, wasn't I? And I do want to create content. I love doing this. I love the fact that some of you pretend to enjoy the little videos that I make, and I want to keep doing it. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult over winter. I'm not as motivated, the weather's not so nice. What are you going to do when it's snowing and whatnot? But I do like this idea, this little nipping out for an adventurous lunch idea. So I'm going to run with it. It might come to nothing, but it's an idea, and I believe in ideas, and I believe in exploring them, because otherwise you're just going to get another video of me on the bog, and I don't think any of you would want that. And I send my sincere apologies to Dick Dastardly and anybody else who was traumatised by my recent episode of not Boaty's Bogs, but Boating on the Bog. We don't want any more of those, do we? So I need to find alternative content. And this is my idea. Do you have any ideas for content that I could create? If you do, leave them in the comments below. Maybe I'll do them. Now that was a second gear corner. And I was in third. Where's second? Ah, there it is. Cool. The 1.4K series engine reacts to revs like I react to wine. With gusto. Dip 'em, you bastard. Here comes another twisty bit. It's another twisty bit. Oh, I can play with my new iPad when I get home, can't I? That's something to look forward to, isn't it? Pufflings. Well, for me, anyway. That was a big thing, as the actress said to the bishop. Hey, there you go. Around the bandy windy. It's a dreadful Scottish accent, and I do apologise. Oh, hello, what's happening here? Right, we'll take it a bit steady, shall we? Oh my gosh. Oh dear me. Oh well, I'm not sure what you could see there from the camera, but a car has, for whatever reason, decided it doesn't want to stay on the road and has taken a nosedive into the field. Gosh, who knows why, but let's just hope that nobody is badly hurt. Dear me. Now this afternoon, Mustard re-broached the subject that I'd brought up the week before, namely, what would your dream 10-car garage be? And he's rather taken this to heart and has put a lot of thought into it and even made some physical lists. And I think he's planning to do some sort of epic episode on the subject, and it's got me to thinking about it again. And when we were chatting, some of the cars that I initially mentioned, and he put a proviso on that these were cars that that you had for life, that you couldn't sell, you couldn't make profit on. They were going to be with you ad infinitum. Presumably they're in perfect condition, I would imagine, and they have to be the cars that you actually use. So yeah, it got me to thinking, and off the top of my head when I was talking to him, the cars that I initially came up with were a Bristol B12 Beaufighter, a Series 3 Lamborghini S.A.D, a Rolls-Royce Camargue, and I was kind of going down those lines, but I've been thinking about it a bit more, and I think what would actually be rather nice would be to continue the Rover theme. Now, as I've explained many times before, this little Rover theme and collection of mine was not in any way planned. It happened by accident to begin with, and then for various reasons I've just gone with it. But wouldn't it be nice to extend? So I started thinking then about which 10 cars would I choose, and I don't think I would go old. I don't think I would go as far back as the 50s or early 60s and the Auntie Rovers, the 1995, 100, 110, whatnot. I think the oldest Rover in my garage would be a Rover P5B Coupe, a car that I'm enormously fond of. I always thought of it as a poor man's silver cloud. And there is a familial connection, as my father had one when I was a child. Oh, balls. And that got me to thinking about the V8 theme. It might be nice to keep the V8 theme going, mightn't it? So my next car in my 10-car garage would be a P6 V8. And then I wondered, would it be a 3.5S with the manual gearbox, or would it be an automatic? And I think it would be an automatic, but that's not that's not a final decision. It might be the S with that sporty 5-speed gearbox. It was a 5-speed, wasn't it? Was it a Getrag in the 3.5S P6? Somebody will know. But one thing for sure is that it would have a boot mounted spare and a full length Webasto sunroof. And moving on from that, I would definitely have an SD1 V8. But the question there is, would it be a Vanden Pla or Plas, or would it be a Vitesse? And my initial thought was, well, it would have to be a twin plenum Vitesse, but it could actually be a Vanden Pla. Could easily be a Vanden Pla or Vanden Plas, as you wish. Oh, there's the accelerator. I knew it was there somewhere. I keep trying to accelerate with the wheel arch. And then my next choice would be, I'm trying to do this in some sort of chronological order, and I'm not sure which is. I'll tell you what I would chuck in there: an MG Metro, one of those really cool ones with the red seat belts and whatnot. Now, did they do a blown version? Did they do an MG Metro Turbo? That much I can't remember, but I would definitely have an MG Metro in there. Yeah, definitely I would. Then it gets a little bit hazy, because I would quite fancy a Maestro. In fact, I would. Oh no, have I? No, I haven't. Ignore that, I think. Oh, I have, haven't I? Right, no, I'll tell you what else there would be. I missed it out. A 216 Vitesse. I can't remember the model code for the square boxy one, but it would be a 216 Vitesse. I'm pretty sure it would be a Vitesse. Again, it could be a Vanden Pla, and it would. I'd have to work this out depending on. Oh, I need to look at the exact specs to make a choice with a few of them. So yeah, that was when I was, before I could drive, when I was a teenager. That was kind of my dream car. And when I was about 17, one of my mates had one. He was a rich kid from Barton Green. Well, I mean, you know, his family were rich. And I just thought it was awesome. I loved sitting in the passenger seat of that. And I always swore I'd have one. And I've never, ever had one. And that's something I've only just remembered. And it's something I should have. I'm going off subject a bit now, but I'm starting to think that there are cars in my current fleet that I would swap for other cars. And one of the things that I would love to have instead of one or two of them would be a 216, the original 216 in a nice trim level. I loved everything about those. I love the dashboard, I love the steering wheel, I love the warning lights, you name it, I loved it. I love the styling. So yeah, I'd have one of them. And then one I'm absolutely definite on, 100%, and I didn't hesitate in this. A classic Range Rover. And guess which model? Yeah, did you guess right? It would be the 4.2 LSE, the long wheelbase with the enlarged 4.2 lump. Now, I had one of those back in the day in black. I would have been, how old would I have been? I would have been probably mid-20s, and that was when I was engaged to Sasha, and she said that that was the car that I looked more right in than any of the other cars that I had or was driving at the time, which included some pretty exotic stuff, but she said the Range Rover was where I looked right, and that would be a definite in there. It would be the 4.2 long wheelbase with all of the bells and whistles. And after that, it does start getting hazy again. I suppose I would have to put an 800. I've lost count of how many cars I've got to, but I think there might have to be an 800 in there. And my first thought would have been a Sterling Coupe, the 2.7, but no, it would be, I think, I remember when they were current being really quite impressed by the, now I'm going to get confused here, I can't remember, it was a Vitesse, and was the Vitesse an 820? Was it a 2-litre blown engine? And was the 827 normally aspirated and not a Vitesse? But I would want the Vitesse, the one that had that fabulous half leather Recaro interior, and it would definitely be the Series 1, the more boxy one, the less square one. I liked that very much, and it, to my eye, it followed on very well from the SD1. And that's another car that I would love to have in the collection, to vary it a bit, to throw some slightly older ones in. And there's no reason why that can't happen, given time. You know, I'm going to keep on top of these cars. I'm going to try and improve them where funds allow. So they should, you know, at some point there's no reason why they couldn't be swapped or sold in order to raise the money to buy something else and to have some changes. As I say, the way things are at the moment is completely unplanned. All happened by accident. Could you go any slower? You don't know where you're going. Fair enough, never mind. Not your fault, these things happen. Yeah, so at some point I might actually take stock and decide what I really want in the collection, what would really excite me. And I feel like I'm going to stick with Rovers. Ideally there would be a P5B in there, get a bit of money now. I'd love an 800, I'd love a 216. But going back to my fantasy 10-car garage, so I've done the 800, and then things get, again, a bit hazy. I would probably, what would I have? I would be tempted to put Shison in there. My 25 1.6 IXL CVT, what's it called? What do they call it? Stepspeed, that's the one. I think that might deserve to be in the collection and in my dream collection. And I do love that car. It's breaking my heart that it's sitting there in the yard at Mustard's. It needs to go to Craig's at Rover Revival for some fettling and MOT. and well, it's the normal problem. I just can't afford it at the moment, and it's breaking my heart that it's sitting there all sad and forlorn and unloved. I desperately want to have them home. It's always just the old money, isn't it? So Shison might go in there, and there would have to be some sort of touring in there, and I don't know. I might even have 2 tourings. I'd have one like Henrietta Pie, top spec pre-facelift CDTI automatic, but in my dream garage it would be a little bit up spec from Henrietta. It would have the wooden steering wheel and it would have cruise control. But then I'd also want an MG variant. Did I finish off about the Maestro? I might have forgotten to finish about the Maestro. I'll quickly whiz back to the Maestro. I'd have a Maestro in there, and it would have been, and I'm not sure which, either an MG Maestro Turbo, quite a rare beast back then and certainly rare now, or an early Vanden Pla with the Torquay computer. And again, I'm not sure which. Okay, back to the touring. So, yeah, so we've done the ZT, we've done CDTI, and then I'd have to have an MG ZT, and I'd probably go back to the V8 theme, and just for sheer shits and giggles, I'd have the 260, the 4.6 V8, but I might have it, and I think they did it, in touring guys, as a touring rather than as a saloon. And I'm nearly home, so I better finish off. And I think I'd have a ZS, whatever it's called, ZS1, the hot one with the stupid massive spoiler and the 2.5 litre KV6. Is that 10? It's close enough. Anyway, that'll do for now because I'm home. Thank you for keeping me company on the way there and during the day, and most especially on the way back. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support, and do tune in soon to see what happens. Oh, I'm not parking there, am I? I'm going round the back. Oh, boaty goes round the back. There's a title for an episode. Alright, my loves, I will say good night and catch you very soon.